Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do We Know Them, episode 197. There is a fly flying back and forth trying to be our co-host so
I think
bad.
you're a little ahead of yourself. I think it's 196.
No. Is it? What the fuck world am I living in?
I definitely wrote 195 in our episode that went up.
Oh my God,
yesterday,
that is so weird. Okay, I'm sorry. It's 196, but there is still a fly that is flying back and forth trying to be our co-host. That is still a thing.
I am so sorry. That is one of the most annoying things ever. Is that like one of the big ones?
Yeah, it's like kind of like a moth, and I
Oh.
don't want to kill it. Also, mainly because I just don't want to get up.
Well, as soon as it gets like too big, I feel like then I don't like killing them because it's just like
You feel like it's sentient?
No, it's no, it's just kind of like too big to like squish.
Oh yeah, you're
you
gonna
know?
feel crunch.
Yeah, no, I don't want. No. Oh my God, that just brought me back to that video where the girl grabs the
Cricket?
cicada.
Or cicada. It was a cicada. That's right. The caption says, reaching for my necklace for emotional support after getting into my first car accident and grabbing a fucking cicada instead.
Well, I don't know if I want to watch it. Oh my God.
It's so sad because she's like literally having a mental breakdown and you see it fly on her shirt. Like that's just life telling you to go fuck yourself. Okay, flies right there. She doesn't notice. She doesn't notice. And then she goes to reach for her necklace.
I hate you. I hate that so much. Oh my God.
I didn't know you had a
Oh my
fear of
God, just
cicadas.
oh my God. It's not cicadas in general. It's just bugs.
You would fucking
the thought of
die
grabbing
if you
one
lived
and
here.
having it like squirm around. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a good one.
No, it wasn't. Anyway.
Hi.
Girlies.
We had a
How are
very
you?
long intro last time, and I think we out-introed ourselves. I think we pretty much wrapped it all up.
We had a lot to say. I feel like we've been busy and sometimes we just like to chat.
For sure. But today we do have two topics to get into, and unfortunately, one of the topics is something that I was almost hoping we wouldn't have to cover. I was like, oh my God, this is so intense. This is so fucked. But we do have to cover it because not only have we been tagged a million times,
It's
but
everywhere.
it does seem to be a substantiated story. That was my biggest concern with it, was like it being a substantiated story, something that wasn't just hearsay. It seemed like a lot of people were throwing out a lot of things and reacting to a lot of screenshots that I wasn't sure were true. And as the day progressed, so like I started the morning off and I told our researcher, I was like, I don't think it's right. And then as the day went on, turns out it seems like this is a substantiated story. And unfortunately, I do think it is important to cover it, even though it is fucked. And I hate covering it because anything that has to do with a child hurting.
And the reason why you were leery about us covering it to begin with is it does involve a child, and that a lot of the times I think stories involving children, people do kind of run with narratives
Because it sparks a lot of
that get so
emotion in
upset.
people. Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
And it's good to be a little cautious of like making sure everything is actually true and it's not just people all with pitchforks, but this is not that kind of a situation.
No.
And I feel like it's similar to like when we covered the stuff with like Ruby and Jody, that it's like
It
gets to a point where it's like you can't really ignore it, and it is so internet focused that so trigger warning for that ahead of time.
Yeah, and I also think it's important to cover because it is important to know what this looks like so that if you see it in the future, because unfortunately it's not impossible to see something like this again, someone with like Munchausen's and who's hurting their child and things like that, it does happen a lot more than you would think. But if we can look at it and see kind of the patterns and what went wrong here, some red flags, because she did exist on the internet for quite a long time, then maybe in the future that can help people to kind of spot that and call people out and not allow them to capitalize off of social media, especially when it comes to your child that is ill. That is a tricky subject. I know that there's a lot of conversation online of people like, well, you know, with like Sanfilippo syndrome, I know that there's a lot of moms that share that because there's a lot of traits to look for in children and they almost want you to see their child so you can see if your child has it. And I understand there's like a fine line between awareness and exploitation, and it's a tricky conversation, but I think that when your child's like dying or like very sick, it's kind of foul to like, hey, get ready with me to go to the hospital because like my child's dying. It's like, what
I just
alternate
can't
universe are we
fathom
living in?
being in the mindset to do that.
I know.
Like,
So wait, should we just cover that first and get it out of the way and then end with Keith Lee and his wormy sushi, or do you want to do it
I was
backwards?
gonna say his isn't a particularly uplifting story.
Well, no, but it's funny at least. Well, actually, no, it's kind of concerning, but it's much more lighthearted.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, let's get this out of the way.
Trigger warning before we get into it that it does involve Munchausen's. It does involve death.
It involves death because it does also briefly touch on, I don't want to show those TikToks, so just as a disclaimer, I don't want to see them myself, but she did show her previous daughter that was stillborn, like she showed her, and we don't need to show that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
There won't be any graphic stuff.
yeah.
It's just going to be us like discussing the overall.
It's a tough topic, so we'll have chapters if you do want to skip. But I do think that this baby Daisy's story does deserve to be heard. And it does have a semi-happy ending, it seems right now, where Daisy was taken out of this mom's care. So we will give that spoiler alert just so like you can like stomach this as it's going on, but it really doesn't make it any less heinous. So we are talking about Australian TikToker Allannah Harris, and she is the mother of the Harris family TikTok. And she makes content around her children, but more specifically, recently, her daughter Daisy's unknown chronic illness. That's kind of the blanket term. It was like, oh, what's happening to my daughter Daisy? I don't know. What could it be? Well, spoiler alert, people found out that she was actually poisoning her daughter to make her ill. Very reminiscent of like Gypsy Rose and Dee Dee Blanchard, and just situations where they have Munchausen's by proxy.
The seeking medical, is it specifically medical?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's only health related things.
Or not even faking it, causing it to then get those symptoms to be presenting so they can get the sympathy. It's a disorder in which those affected feign or induce disease, illness, injury, abuse, or psychological trauma to draw attention, sympathy, or reassurance to themselves. So Munchausen syndrome is someone doing it to themselves, and then Munchausen by proxy is to do it to another person, which very commonly is children, because it's going to be easier to do that to a child because they think that you are the one who has their best interests in mind than doing it to another person close to you. But I'm sure it does happen with like spouses and stuff too.
Yeah. Definitely. But when you have Munchausen's, that is also what people have when they like fake cancer and they, do things like that.
It's interesting because posting about it for sympathy on social media, that's usually what is fueling Munchausen. That's
attention.
The motive behind it. Exactly. So like it's been a thing long before social media. Think how social media has probably exacerbated that kind of a situation where it's like not only are they getting sympathy of the people they interact with on a daily basis, but just strangers. And it's like untapped, just anyone that they can get to garner sympathy from, they will.
And you think of the attention, and that aspect alone is enough to make people do crazy shit. But when you also think of the fact that because she's raised like almost $70,000 because of her sick child, that also makes you act kind of fucking crazy. So Allannah is the mom, Brock is the dad, Ellie is one of their daughters, Daisy is the daughter we're going to be talking about, and then they also have a son. So they have quite a few children.
Are the other kids not
sick?
Yeah.
Well, we'll discuss that. Ellie, she has talked about her being sick in the past, very briefly and erratically, and then kind of just gave up on that. And it's definitely suspicious. Like, when you see those people on Facebook that are just always talking about some crazy shit happening in their life, and you have to wonder, you're either making this up. Well, no, you're probably making this up. Like, just feels like that. Like, you're like, how does one person go through so much shit? It just doesn't make sense. Like, I get it. Some people have a lot of things going on, but every day, red flag. Like, something weird is happening.
Well, and I'm sure it also, with like the fact that it's like unknown chronic illnesses, I feel like in recent years, especially, it's been very common that, and I've talked to even about like, I've gone to the doctor and it's like, you can't even beg them for any kind of a diagnosis because they just kind of write it off.
Right.
That a lot of people buy into, like, you say you have a chronic illness, like, people will believe you because they want to be supportive because so many people can't get that validation or diagnosis from a doctor. And I feel like they're leaning into people that are like empathetic towards those situations just capitalizing on it.
So our researcher wants us to put a pin in this, but I do think this is something they did on behalf of their daughter who was stillborn. Oh, by the way, all of her social media is deleted. Thank you, Cheryl and Dale of the Here for the Clout podcast for sharing these deleted TikToks. And then also our researcher found some that were re-uploaded. Her account was up this morning. She had privated everywhere and she had taken down her comments. She is gone. She is off of everything.
See, this is situations where I'm like, fuck Google for eliminating my way of finding stuff because it's so frustrating that people can just wipe stuff from the internet and not be held accountable unless it's as big as this is and people have already downloaded it.
So this was in 2022 and she posted as a caption, "This is not okay. Guys, please be sensitive about your jokes."
First of all, you're not supposed to release balloons.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay. So I was too focused on the copyright music blaring in my ear. But basically, it is them on a beach throwing balloons for what would have been their daughter Lily's second birthday. And yeah, you're not supposed to throw balloons. I don't do it. I mean, I feel bad telling someone mourning. Like,
I get why people like it's like a symbolic thing, but yeah, it's bad for the environment.
Yeah. Just Anyway, so we're going to be blurring the kids' faces. There's plenty of places online that you can see it, but I just, this feels yucky and I don't want to do it.
I don't know why you need to see it.
I know. And a lot of it is her being very ill and it's very triggering. But that being said, note that it was not her that blurred her children. All her children were showed, and she would like document and put TikToks up like this.
The kids are such good sleepers. I can fully change their nappy, get them changed into different outfits, even a number 2, while they sleep. They don't wake up. Is this normal? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm super grateful for really good sleepers. To be honest, Daisy is probably the best sleeper out of all of them. She goes to sleep in the afternoons, and I usually wake her up to go to school drop-off. Ellie must be growing or just tired today because she crashed again on the couch.
This is another TikTok in relation to their sleeping pattern, which does come up in a second. And she's answering a comment that says, what time did he end up waking up? And that person is referring to her son, and this was her response.
Guys, Chase slept for 20 hours yesterday. 20. He was only awake for 4 hours. There he is.
That's insane.
That would have me running to the hospital.
Why is she like kind of giggling while she's saying
Well,
that?
yeah, and in the last one she was suggesting, so she said she puts her daughter to sleep in the afternoon. So think, I don't know, maybe latest. What would be considered the latest afternoon? Like 4?
3?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then would wake her up for school drop off the next morning. Yeah. That's
fucking insane. That's like, even like as someone who like, I will go into my comas sometimes, we call them, I'll sleep for like 14 hours straight, but that's because I'm literally sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And because I've been like working nonstop or something, like I'm tired for a reason. There's no reason that a kid should need 20 hours of sleep, even with the daughter consistently, if that's like a thing where it's like, oh yeah, she sleeps through the evening and to the next morning. That's insane.
I know. And it's not even like, if I had to think, I'm like, well, maybe they like are really active in their wake windows or something, but you can't be active enough to make 20 hours make sense for a toddler. Like that's just, it's not normal.
Also to have it be a consistent thing, that this wasn't like a one time, like, oh, we had a really long day and then.
I know. And maybe it's just because I know what I know, but to me it does give that she was drugging them.
Something.
Yeah, to me it feels like she gave them something. And not even like melatonin or something, which I personally don't give to my children, but I know a lot of people do. They had to have been taking something for sleep. That's not normal. And for her to come online and be like, oh my God, like, is this normal? No, it's not.
No.
What?
Did people tell her it wasn't?
I think so. These are re-uploads, so we can't see the comments anymore.
Yeah.
I would imagine people told her that.
Right? Like, I doubt people were just like, oh my God, wish my kid did
No,
that.
literally, that is like signs of like really, really bad things. Either they're like severely anemic or like they need to go get panels done because I'm scared. Like, that's not normal. So her just being like, is this normal? Okay, like weird. So we're going to jump forward a little bit to Allannah telling us about Daisy's diagnosis, which for a while, I think she was like stringing people along, like, oh, what could be wrong with my baby? Like, I don't know what it could be. And then this is her talking about it.
We're just told that our daughter's brain is covered in tumors, and what is worse is that we found this out on the same day that our other daughter passed away 4 years ago. I don't know whether that's like Lily saying that she's here with us.
What?
She's not crying. Am I tripping? I'm wearing my contacts.
No, that's like she's like trying to like make her voice kind of shake.
That's what it feels like to me. She is forcing like, a cry. Like that's genuinely what it sounds like. And she has no
also,
tears.
What do you mean your daughter's brain tumors are a sign that you're what?
Because they found out on the same day they found out about her diagnosis is when their last baby died.
And that's a sign that she's here? Like pretty morbid sign.
I know.
Like,
if it was real and this was actual, then I understand how people draw certain things to deal with grief. Totally. But I don't believe, I mean, there is no diagnosis and like jumping forward doesn't even seem like there's brain tumors. So it's just,
One also, weird thing to be like, her brain is covered in tumors.
The way she says it is very callous while also trying to present herself as mourning and grieving something that would literally destroy any parent. Like the last thing I would want to do, number one, is do a TikTok update, but I get it. People deal with things in different ways. And I certainly wouldn't have been able to compose myself like this.
Which I know we've talked about, like when people cry on TikTok, I'm kind of like, okay, pull it together. But it's like, this is a situation that no one would question whether you're crying legitimately or not. Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. And also, I mean, there is no moistness coming from her eyes. None.
Or if it's just a really shitty day.
No, and look at the, like, oh my.
I need a coffee, so let's make a coffee together. I also don't have a coffee machine, and I really need a new coffee. Like, I really need a real coffee right now. But I've just
What
got
the
the
fuck?
stick ones. It's gonna do. It's gonna have to do.
This is the weirdest video I've ever seen. I've never
Was
seen.
that
I haven't
not
reacted to any of
just
these. I just
kind
know
of
the story.
giving Resilient Jenkins, where it's like, oh, I don't have this thing. It would be so much better if I had this thing, so that you're hoping someone will buy
I don't
that
know.
thing?
I'm too distracted by the fact that she like breaks the sadness in between like what she's talking about. Literally, she just like kind of went back to normal.
Yes, but also like that is insane. Like, it just feels like she jumped from a very, very troubling diagnosis to dry begging. And that's fucking crazy. She goes on to post a series of health updates, if you will, completely exploiting the fuck out of her daughter, in my opinion. This one, I don't know what kind of like maybe trend she was trying to go for, but it says, "Who was your biggest supporter through my trauma, mommy?" As if she was saying that. And it's like, what kind of content are people really like? What do they think they're doing here? And how is this appropriate? And how is this acceptable? Again, I know people deal with grief and shit in different ways, but this to me is out of pocket. Like, it's very inappropriate. Oh my God. Literally, what the fuck is this TikTok?
Fuck.
Holy
The
shit.
caption on screen, you guys, is "Watch brain tumors steal the life out of our baby." And then it oh my
shows
God.
her getting
Oh my God.
sicker. That's what she wants.
And there's captions. It's like, "Struggling to keep her eyes open, sleeps for 23 hours a day. She's not responding to anything. We just want our happy baby back."
Do you?
Oh my God. And the caption for that one said that after being turned away from medical professionals for almost 6 months
I wonder why.
because there was nothing wrong.
Literally. Yeah, there's a ton of examples like that. I don't know how in depth we want to go into it because of the fact.
That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it's really, really, it's a lot. And it feels nasty. And it's almost like I'm mad at her for putting it up. I don't want to watch it and like give her that too. But just know that she posted a plethora of content exploiting her baby that was sick. One that I do want to show in particular, though, is very much the vibe that to me, when I saw it, I was like, oh, obviously she poisoned her. Like, allegedly. But to me, I was like, oh, fuck no. Like, what do you mean you're doing this while your daughter's in the hospital?
Well, and also when you think about like how insane it is that it's like, even if she had nothing to do with the reason why the daughter is in the hospital, posting all of these is fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And then when you think about the fact that that's the reason she's in there and it's so she can post these, literally my brain can't comprehend.
At all. So this one is a get ready with me while her daughter's in the hospital.
In the last couple of months, our lives have changed so much. We have gone from living normal lives to now living in the hospital. Daisy is now having seizures that last anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours at a time, and she's having more than one of these a day.
Why is she talking like that?
Honestly, if my child was in the hospital with brain, like, why are you even getting ready? Not to say that you can't, but like,
It feels
this is
fucking weird. And she's like,
fucking
and
insane.
now her seizures are lasting 1 to 2 hours. What do you mean?
It's as if she's being like, now she took her first step. And it's like,
Yeah,
what?
it's that energy. It feels like an accomplishment to her or something.
Yeah.
Like she's talking.
Like a new milestone.
Yeah, her tone doesn't match what has happened. And it's just, my God.
Notifications for my PO box to come and collect my stuff. So I thought I could do a bit of a haul in another video.
Oh yeah, she also does PO unboxing hauls, all sorts of things. The get readies with me. I mean, what are you talking about?
We always say we don't like a lot of get ready with me's anyway when it's like people are telling serious stories, for example. And it's like, okay, maybe like don't do your makeup while you're talking about this. This is a whole new level.
Now, this one was literally, if I'm not mistaken, the last TikTok that she posted, if not like the second to last TikTok. And it's Daisy's first haircut. And it was during like when she was under for brain surgery. And she, of course, she recorded all of that. And
Oh
it
my
has
God.
copyright free music. And she is showing herself cutting the baby's hair with her saving in a container and kissing her. And then she goes off to the OR.
Copyrighted music.
What did I say?
Copyright free.
Copyright free. It's
I was like,
copyrighted.
no, I think that's copyrighted.
Yeah. And in September, she posted a TikTok and the caption said, Daisy's condition has not improved the way we were hoping for it to. And the hospital has decided to move her into palliative care, which palliative care is essentially all we can do is just keep you comfortable.
Like a hospice, but is it strictly for like, is that a baby's?
Palliative care is specialized medical care that focuses on providing relief from pain and other symptoms of a serious illness. Yeah, it's not just for kids.
Okay, so I just found a chart that has the differences. In hospice, it says it's for terminal, final 6 months of life. They just do pain management, but there's not like treatment to try and make anything go away. For palliative, it's serious, but not necessarily terminal. It can happen anytime, not just in the final 6 months. For example, I think if it was like kind of an unknown situation, especially, they
Okay.
might not know what the life
But during
expectancy
it, they
could
want to
be.
give them comfort for whatever side
And it
effects
also
they're
says that
experiencing.
it can include curative treatment as well. Before we go any further, we have a word from our sponsor, Ollie.
Ollie provides clean, fresh nutrition for your dog's needs in 5 flavors they will absolutely love, and love they do. Oh my God, I cannot explain to you how much Hershey loves this. I have already reordered. Yes, I used our code. It is just incredible, and I mean, I don't want to, this is anecdotal, but when we have run out of Ollie and I've had to feed him other foods, like his leg with arthritis gets so much worse. And then when I start feeding him Ollie, he starts walking more. I don't know what they put in it, and I'm not claiming it does anything. I am just saying I have noticed a difference in my dog.
No, I mean, I think that's the thing, is they don't put things in it. And I feel like in normal processed dog food, there is a lot of extra stuff that's not good for them or not the right nutrition.
They have absolutely no harmful fillers, no preservatives in their foods, and it's made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world.
And it also makes it super helpful because it's like individually portioned. So I just like peel open a package, put it in, and he just loses his shit.
And right now, Ollie is offering a fantastic deal to let your dog taste test a personalized meal plan. So you can head over to ollie.com, tell them about your dog, and use code DWKT so you can get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today.
That's ollie.com, OLLIE.com, and enter the code DWKT and you get 60% off.
And they offer a clean bowl guarantee on their first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you can get your money back. And thank you so much, Ollie, for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast and feeding our doggies.
Yeah.
She goes on to say, this news has come as quite a shock for us, and we are still coming to terms with what this means and how it will look for us and our family moving forward. Over the coming weeks, the hospital will be working alongside us to create a safe environment for Daisy to be back home with us under 24/7 palliative care nurse support. Although we may have gotten our wish for Daisy to be home for Christmas, we really wish it was under better circumstances. And then jump forward, probably like a week later in October, she says, our darling girl has now been in the hospital for 2 months and has had 2 brain surgeries. We were really hoping for a better outcome from these surgeries, but we are just grateful that our sweet girl is still here with us. Allegedly, what the outcomes were, I don't know this to be 100% true, but this is what has been said, is that the reason they weren't quote unquote successful is because they did not find anything. There was nothing.
They were like exploratory procedures.
That is what is speculatory amongst everyone. So it has allegedly also been found that in Daisy's system was like benzos and things like that. She was symptomatic of many things, and maybe some of it was exploratory. I cannot bring my fucking self to understand an exploratory brain surgery on a toddler.
Well, I was like, that feels like a very extreme,
super extreme
measure to be taken.
2.
And also, and I was going to even ask this when we first were saying, like, if she's been poisoning her, when she says it's taken 6 months of people being turned away, I have to ask, like, and I don't know, I'm literally like wondering, are there no like tests to rule out potential poisoning? Or it's like, why wouldn't you
panels?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like toxicology should definitely show that there's benzos that are not prescribed in her system. So I don't understand how that could be like, oh, it's mimicking symptoms. And it's like, or you see that I
wouldn't be surprised if from this stemmed investigations with the healthcare providers that did do those surgeries. I am not saying that they are guilty of anything. I am just speculating on what I see could be happening in the future. But in Gypsy Rose's case, for instance, and with a lot of Munchausen cases, what happens is that those mothers or fathers will go to any lengths and find people who don't want to see their child for 6 months, and they will find that fucking doctor that will, and they will make sure that the things that they need to get done, like to the most extreme circumstance, will get done. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that all professionals should know better and do no harm is part of the oath that doctors take. But at the same time, I don't know exactly what happened. All I know is that they did cut that poor girl open twice, and that fucking kills me.
And I think back to, I'm pretty sure with Gypsy Rose, there was a point that like she convinced the doctors to give her a feeding tube and stuff. And it's like
multiple surgeries too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking crazy.
I hate that this is a reference I'm going to bring up, but I just asked about like, is there not tests they can do to make sure, like to rule out if there's poison or something? Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
When he gets poisoned with the flour?
Oh God, I watched it so many years ago. I don't know if I remember that specifically.
I feel like I remember it being like, they can know that a kid might be poisoned, or they might just not know what's going on. They have to like know what it was specifically to be able to know what like antidote to be able to administer.
You know what I hate about that is that I feel like that has a lot to do with our healthcare system as a whole.
Aren't there like tests that they should just be able to do anyway? Like,
well, yeah, I feel like in other countries, like I know there's such thing as like healthcare tourism, where people will literally go and fly to other places to get full body screenings that, quite frankly, they just will not do it here. Even if you're like totally like, I'll pay it. They're like, no, we can't just give you a CAT scan to make sure your brain's healthy for X,
no,
Y,
you
and
have
Z
anxiety.
reason. Exactly. It's kind of weird to me that like you can't go into a hospital in the US with chronic headaches, let's say, and just be like, I need a CAT scan. Like, I have chronic headaches.
Yeah.
Not everybody will give that to you. That's insane to me because I'm like, well, I have fucking symptoms of this. So there is a limit to what is allowed in our healthcare system, unfortunately. And I know that that's not even necessarily the doctor's fault. It's a lot of the insurance companies that will deny your care and a ton of fucked up shit that we have to deal with. But this is crazy to me. Like, how the fuck did anyone okay this? It's just insane.
Yeah, well, especially because if there's like benzos or something, that's something you could get like a fucking CVS drug test and be able to have come back.
Yeah, I don't know how they would test it for a toddler, but yeah, they could have tested for it. And obviously, whoever gave that surgery didn't, because she was symptomatic of a lot of things that were concerning for a toddler, obviously, just always sleepy.
And it's crazy to me that there wouldn't be, again, like at least a short list, because Munchausen's is not a like super rare thing. Yeah, you don't hear about it like constantly, but it's like, it's definitely something that I feel like if a kid is brought in and they can't figure out what's wrong with them, that should be a number one thing, regardless of the like behavior of the parent.
Absolutely.
That they should be considering. I feel like these parents aren't coming up with these like revolutionary things to poison their kids. Like, I'm sure it's all
That's
coming
not
from
true.
a similar...
You know what I fucking saw one time, which is just insane? Some mom, I believe it was their mom, was poisoning their child with a ton of salt. A shit ton of salt on purpose. Salt. And the child was like near death. And then they found her literally in the hospital room injecting like sodium into his fucking IV. And I'm just like, what do you mean? So I do think people get fucking crafty.
But even that feels like, shouldn't that be something that like comes back? Like,
I don't know.
I just feel like there should be tests to rule out some like basic.
Yeah, I think a basic panel is more limited than we would like to admit. I think it should be more extensive, especially in children that otherwise should be healthy and don't have obvious signs of like cancer or something like that.
Exactly. It's like if they are like, there's no diagnosis because we can't figure out what's wrong.
Then
like,
let's get to
time to get a little creative and like do some more tests.
Yeah, and to be fair, I know that there are doctors out there who probably do that and are very intuitive.
And I'm sure there is still things that they can't figure out what's wrong. And it isn't Munchausen. It's not someone poisoning them, but it just seems crazy. And again, I don't know anything about medicine or like, but it just seems crazy that we're in 2024 and it's still so easy for parents to be able to do stuff like this.
I know. So this TikTok is supposedly from the Ronald McDonald House, which, do you know what that is?
Like a children's charity.
Yeah, so the Ronald McDonald House is a charity that provides support for families with children who are seriously ill or injured. And they give things like family rooms, private spaces in hospitals that allow the families to like rest and stuff, which if you've ever slept in a hospital, not very comfortable. And a lot of times that's the only option for parents while they're there with their child. So she got this service, which a lot of people have pointed out, fuck you, because you took that from someone else. And that's something that Gypsy Rose's mom, Dee Dee, also did with like the people who built her house. I forgot what the name of the charity was, but there was people that came out and built a house for them for free. And the entire time Gypsy Rose was not sick and her mom was just poisoning her. Blows my mind.
Well, and that's the sad part. It's because like they are sick. It's just like they don't have to be.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I feel like that was one of the big things with Gypsy Rose is that they really tried to milk any kind of like handout that they could get, like the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
They went
like,
to Disney.
Stuff like
Yep.
It's
just like, fuck you. That could have been somebody else's. Like, people have to wait in line for Make-A-Wishes, and like some people die before they can make their wish. Like, it's fucked. So to do this is egregious if all allegations are true and she actually did make her daughter be sick. For her to take a spot in the Ronald McDonald House is really fucked. But anyway, this was her filming in it, supposedly.
As you guys know, we are currently living at the Ronald McDonald House while they're trying to find a treatment for our youngest daughter. And I thought we could do a P.O. box unboxing. This one is from B Customs.
I mean, I know her kids are there and it's like you put on a brave face, but like, why the fuck are you so happy? It's actually making me mad. Like, there's just not even an option to do that. I would be like just functioning barely enough for my, how do you, I don't know.
Well, and it's like, I do get like, you do want to put on a brave face and like, if you're dealing with illness of a child for an extended period of time, like you want to make it feel like as normal as possible, but this is not normal. And she does seem weirdly like, why the fuck are you doing unboxings? Like,
I know. Moving on to one of the pretty strong pieces of evidence, but this was one I was definitely weary. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I was leery about it.
Good.
Because of the fact that it is a screenshot from Snapchat that is allegedly from the father, Brock. And here on this TikTok that we're looking at, someone had commented his Snapchat name, which is broccoli, and I don't know how this started
Hate that.
circulating. I don't know the origin of it. I just know that allegedly this has been confirmed to be the father of Daisy and the husband, or I guess now ex-husband, I don't know, of Allannah.
He wasn't ever present like on her social media, really?
No, he was. So that first video that I showed, that was playing music, so we muted it, but it was all the family together. Like, it was him, and they're all carrying the kids, and everyone looks happy. And supposedly, they were one happy family fighting everything. He was there during those surgeries. He was there while she was fighting everything. And he supposedly says he didn't know anything about this. So he posted on Snapchat, and this has been the screenshots that have been going everywhere. It says, I figured this would be the fastest way to reach everybody, as I know everyone likes to gossip. Already ill, what the fuck? Okay, we're not gossiping. We are talking about your wife and how she has endangered your child, and she should be shamed online for the rest of time.
The fact that he's already trying to be like, people are awful, and it's like, no, your wife's awful. Yeah.
He goes on to say, for what it is worth, I had no idea about what Allannah was doing to Daisy.
For what
I pushed
it's
for those
worth.
surgeries because in my heart, I felt that it would help. I didn't realize that Daisy was being drugged the entire time, causing her symptoms to be what they, and I think he meant were.
It's just very defensive feeling, but not in the way that actually is like upset about it.
No, and it also doesn't give, I feel betrayed by my partner, because the betrayal that I would feel if the person that I trust most in the world with my children did this to them, I would be beside myself. Like, genuinely, I would never trust a human being as long as I live.
That's the thing.
My
It's
kids
like
would never be out of my sight again.
He seems kind of aloof to the whole, like,
distant from it, removed from it. In my opinion, this gives you had something to do with this and you did know it was happening, but that's just my opinion. He goes on to say, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I don't even know you, sir. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I'm a good dad and I do my best to love and protect my children. I should have done better for them. I'm sorry I couldn't protect Daisy the way I should have. The children have been taken into custody under speculation I potentially had something to do with this. On everything I have ever known and ever loved, I had no idea what Allannah was doing. Allannah, you're an absolute monster. You win. What does that mean?
You win? This is the weirdest.
Win what?
Like, even all of the stuff he's already said, it's like he could have started with, on everything I've ever known and ever loved, I had no idea.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah, like,
literally.
why would you... I'm not everyone's cup of tea. CPS didn't take your kids because you're not everybody's cup of tea. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know. It just seems like such a bizarre statement. He goes on to say, to all 4 of my beautiful, beautiful children, I love you so dearly. I'm so sorry. I also just want to add to all the people that have dragged me through the dirt and said all these terrible things about me. When the truth comes out, and it absolutely will, I hope you feel absolutely horrible for the nasty, hurtful, and terrible things you've all said about me. I've had no part in any of this. Okay, he meant part in any of this, but he said pardon. Anyway, okay. I have no part in any of this, and I've only done my best to support Daisy and her medical journey. I feel like, fuck, you should have known something. Like, how do you just see a perfectly healthy baby decline that fast and see your wife's demeanor and not fucking think that's weird?
That's the thing. It's like, I get that if he's trying to seek medical help and like get her the treatment she needs because there's something wrong with her, but it's like,
you needed to advocate for your daughter. You needed to be there clocking your wife's ass, and you didn't.
I get you don't want to believe that your partner would be capable of that, but also I'm so weirded out by just the overall vibe of this thing is very like, poor me, not poor Daisy.
Yeah.
He's making it very much about himself and like, people just are judging me. And it's like, well, yeah, no shit. Your daughter was just like, are you kidding? Like, you should be mortified that that happened. And instead you're like mad that people assume that. Why wouldn't they assume that?
And also he says nothing about like, I am going to make it my life's mission basically to protect my baby girl. As soon as she gets back into my fucking custody, I am going to protect her. Like, anything, like none of that. It's just like,
at the very
you're a
least,
monster.
say like, to prove that I had nothing to do with this or something like.
Yeah. Like, say like, I'm going to cooperate with authorities.
Exactly.
100%. I am going to do whatever it takes. And then I'm going to make sure that I dedicate my life to protecting my baby girl. Like, that's it. And then there's this text message that has also been going around, and it is somebody sending this to a T channel on TikTok. So take it with a also very, very large grain of salt.
And that opening statement makes me want to die.
Literally, that was my first thought when I saw this. It says, got some Harris family goss for you. And I know that I didn't get for the memes last episode, but that means gossip. And I know that. So you will not take that from me.
Side note, that is literally, I was dying watching that back. I thought it was so funny.
I was a bit ashamed. I'll be honest. I almost cut it out, but I was like, okay, I'll leave it in for you.
It was so great. I loved it so much.
But anyway, that's a disgusting way to address this. It's not gossip. It's not tea. It's a nasty, callous way that the internet has made people, in my opinion. But there should always be a way we approach things like this, and it ain't gossip. I'll just tell you that right now. This is anything but gossip. Do you want to read the rest of it, though? Because it does kind of give insight, supposedly, again, large grain of salt, to what was happening.
Okay. It says, so the mom/dad or the mom and dad have drugged Daisy the whole time. Some of the nurses started following her Insta page/TikTok and was like, no, she's spreading false info. She doesn't have brain tumors and she was never palliative. After her last brain surgery, which found nothing, the Children's Hospital decided to run a toxicology report. Seems like that's something they maybe should have been first.
Yeah, like, if that is the order it went in.
That's insane. And it showed that Daisy has a high reading for benzodiazepines, which is like Valium, etc. Kids have been taken off them, meaning taken away.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure where the mom and dad are. However, Daisy is under the care of child protection and is still in the hospital, awake, sitting up, eating, being a normal 1-year-old.
If that is true, which at first when I saw this, I was like, okay, bullshit. How do you know this? Who are you? I know nothing about you. This is all crazy. But then I saw police reports and kind of connected everything. And it does seem that at least some of this is true. If that is true, literally, can you fucking imagine that just not letting the mom talk to her and not be with her, not allegedly poison her, she's already a 1-year-old that's perfectly normal.
Well, I mean,
just
allegedly,
like
it seems like there's definitely something that got interrupted that now is making her okay.
Right there already, to me, if I was the police, I would be like, okay, the mom was drugging her, or the dad was, or they were both doing it.
That is fucking insane to me, though, that a brain surgery would take place before a toxicology report to show up benzodiazepine. Like, that's not a hard thing to find out. That's insane. And also, what were the symptoms other than she was just like sleeping a lot and stuff? Because like that does, I mean, that's
remember, she's a 1-year-old,
benzos,
so any symptoms other than the obvious ones, like she was sleepy, were just communicated by mom. Like when you go to the doctor, you are speaking for your child. Even I would do that, and Amelie just is turning 3. So even though she talks and she can tell you if her head hurts and all this stuff, doctors look to you to tell you what the symptoms are. So she could have given a laundry list of them.
Well, and I guess that's like, if you can't recreate the symptoms, like that does happen. Like even with adults, you can't recreate something. You could just like tell them. That's fucking insane though. Like, I just don't understand how that's not like baseline, like let's make sure nothing's in her system. Not even insinuating that like the parents are poisoning them, but it's like, what if they got into something?
I literally would want them to do that.
Yeah.
Like, Amelie, like I watch her 24/7, but there might be a minute or two that she gets out of my sight. I don't know if she went and chugged Windex or something.
Exactly.
Like, I have that locked,
like,
but
I certainly wouldn't be like, no drug testing, brain surgery though. Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know. It's awful. And I'm so sad that they did that and that she was able to get away with that.
And if that's all, not all it was, because obviously that's very serious, but it's like, if that's what it was, like, that's something they easily could have cut off in the beginning.
Oh, and also, sorry, I just remembered, one of the symptoms was seizures.
Oh, well, she said there were 2 hours.
Yeah, she was probably overdosing on whatever the fuck she was being given.
Literally. And where was the mom getting them? Not that you can't get them from people, but like...
Oh, God, I don't know. That I don't think anybody's talked about yet. This is all still like pretty fresh when we're covering it, but the police have commented, and it's the Queensland Police Service. They said, police are aware of reports of child harm against a 1-year-old girl. The Queensland Police Service has taken action to protect the child and commenced an investigation. As this is an active investigation, it would be inappropriate to provide further comment. But from what we know from the dad, allegedly, the dad on Snapchat, and then this random person, it does seem to kind of all go in order with like, they have definitely taken custody of her. Now, what I really hope is that they also will protect the other children. I don't know where the mom is. As of right now, she hasn't been arrested. That has like a record that people have found. So I'm not 100% sure what that is going to turn into. This concerned me a lot because apparently her daughter Ellie used to have seizures.
Oh my God, from her own account.
Oh no, yeah, like she said it, yeah.
Scary in my life because Ellie,
the fake crying again.
Ellie just had a seizure and went blue in my arms.
When we got to the hospital, her temperature was still over 40 degrees and it didn't come down for like several hours. She was so hot and sweaty, but she just wanted to cuddle us.
Oh my God, literally what she's
the fuck?
That literally is like a day in my life.
Yeah. Like she goes into it as if she's cleaning her house and describing what cleaner she uses. That is the vibe you're giving. Your daughter, which this is a separate daughter, reminder, this isn't Daisy. So it seems like she maybe tried something out with Ellie and then was like, oh, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't know what goes through these people's brains. I do know that it's,
oh my God,
it's just very terrifying. And I hope that they're protecting all the kids. I know that Daisy's the one that needs like the immediate removal from her parents. Absolutely. And I understand that, but it's just horribly sad. I feel so bad. I literally just like, if this is true, and again, seems weird. Like all of it just seems fucking weird. And I cannot fathom a world where everything's kosher and like Daisy actually was sick and the mom has like nothing to do with it. Like it was giving a very sinister vibe. But I just really hope that the law in Australia, whatever that may be, I don't know if it's like super lenient, I don't know, protects those kids, because fuck that. Like, I am just horrified.
I mean, it seems like the police wouldn't, it's a harm against a 1-year-old, right?
Yeah, harm
so
against
like,
a 1-year-old.
They wouldn't just say that if,
no.
At the very bare minimum, I would say that interrupting the contact between the parents and the kid, if that was what suddenly reversed her symptoms.
Yeah, magic.
That is like the minimum, I think,
I
that they would need to be like, okay, well, they were doing something. Maybe they don't know exactly what yet. And I get maybe they don't have the necessary like tests and stuff done to be able to prove and charge her yet. But thank God. And it said the kids. So like all of the kids have been taken. And I guess the husband said that too.
Right.
So good. But oh my God.
It gets slightly weirder, if you can imagine that, because allegedly Allannah has been sick herself. Somebody found this, I believe it's a Facebook post. Yeah. It's from a Facebook page called C3 Powerhouse Sunshine Coast. I don't know how people find these things, my God. But anyway, it says, Allannah was a career-focused businesswoman before her life radically changed. After collapsing and being taken to hospital, she was told she had stage 5 chronic kidney disease. Not knowing what that meant, she started reading her Bible and praying. Along the way, C3 Powerhouse started popping up in conversation, so she decided to check it out. Allannah started getting involved, and after being at church for a while, was prayed for, and her kidneys radically improved in health and function. This is her story.
Okay, I was Googling C3 Powerhouse when you were reading that, and it says it is a Christian church in Queensland. Got it. So they prayed away her kidney disease.
Or she just decided she didn't have it anymore. I don't know which one happened first.
I'm leaning more into that. Yeah.
Before we continue, we really quickly want to thank today's second sponsor, and that's Manscaped.
Okay, girlies, the holidays are coming up, and you're probably wondering what to get that man in your life, whether that's your dad, your boyfriend, your husband, and Manscaped has got you covered with something that he'll actually love and use, and that is the Chairman Pro package, which will give him the smoothest, irritation-free shave of his life.
Yeah, the Chairman Pro has not one, but 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads that reduce irritation when you're shaving, but also get close enough to give you an amazing smooth shave.
The 2 blades are the 4-blade foil for when he wants the really close-up shave, but then there's also the stubble trimmer for when he wants to keep some stubble, which I personally like.
And the Chairman Pro is also waterproof, which is really cool, so he can even shave in the shower, which is amazing. But that is not all. The package also includes a power shave gel and a face shave soother, so you have the whole kit, and they're ready to go as soon as they open their package.
So gift your man the ultimate grooming experience by Manscaped with the Chairman Pro package for the holidays. And right now you can get 20% off and free shipping if you use the code DWKT at manscaped.com.
That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code DWKT at manscaped.com. And thank you so much to Manscaped for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast. One kind of side quest we didn't go on was that she exploited her preteen niece that like was like dressed kind of, you know, in a way that I don't know. She would show her a lot like dancing on TikTok and it was weird. But because she did that, a lot of people contacted the niece on social media because they knew what it was because of Allannah. And she posted on Instagram saying, please stop messaging me about Allannah and Brock. Of course I know what has happened. It's my family, not yours. Worry about your own, please. Brock's side was no involved in it. We are not involved. Please leave us out of it. If you see Brock anywhere, please call 000 immediately. Is that like 911?
Is that like 911?
I think so. Like what? What do you mean if you see Brock?
Yeah, I'm like, is he like
where is
convict that you need to?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, what the fuck? It's literally like 911. It says urgent help from police, fire, or ambulance services. What the fuck?
But she's like, he's not involved, but also if you see him, like, call the police.
Hey girlies, so it turns out that apparently Brock had indeed gone missing, and his family and the police were actively looking for him. And based on this Snapchat he posted, it seems like they found him. The text on screen reads, I apologize to everybody that I worried. All of this has been extremely overwhelming. I'm going home and I'm going to continue helping get to the bottom of all of this. I appreciate all the love and support and the understanding towards the severity of the situation and the incredibly large impact it's having my life at the moment. Welp, that's been the only major update since filming, but hopefully we'll find out more soon.
Hopefully we'll find it by the time that we post this, but I do know there was a GoFundMe, and I do know that it raised close to $60,000, if not $70,000, and that was given to Allannah for all of these medical things that she was struggling with her children. So I hate all of this. What else can I say? I hope that girl bounces back, and this is insane.
That's also crazy though, because it's like, if your kid was really in the hospital, it's not like she didn't have those bills. Like the bills aren't fake, so you are having to pay for it. She's not even doing it for money. It's like, literally she's doing it just for the sympathy. Like,
because you're saying the money raised would have gone straight to medical bills?
She actually had to spend it, yeah. Maybe, unless she just wasn't paying the hospital bills. But...
yeah, but remember, isn't there like universal health care over there in Australia?
Oh, great point. I have no idea.
I know we live in hell, but not everybody does.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it would cost me $70,000 to take an ambulance to the hospital. It cost me that much
to give birth to my children. And like,
yeah.
You know, I had to work pretty hard for that too. I think that it would be more so maybe, and maybe if you find the GoFundMe, we could put it in here, but it probably would have been more like, I have to like stop all work, stop everything to be by her side. Like, I can't have a job because I'm always there for my baby. Bullshit.
But even then, I'm like, my point was that she's not doing it for like extra money. It's like, the money isn't even a part of it. You're just doing this so you can like keep getting that sympathy and attention from people.
I don't know if the money's no part of this. I think it is. And I also think like even her saying things like, oh, I really wish I had like another coffee maker. Looks like you have a really nice kitchen. Like, should you not have a coffee maker? Like, I don't know. What's your deal? Like, it just seems like she does like the P.O. boxes and the gifts and all the free shit. That seems like something she enjoys.
I think it's just that there is like a whole other level. Like, it doesn't seem like money would be the main motivator here. It is that drive to get attention. And that's so crazy. I mean, oh my God. Obviously, it's a disorder that people have, and that's the whole point. But like, I kind of wonder, are there ever situations where the person realizes they know what they're doing, obviously, because they're like having to actively like poison the kid.
But
like, is there ever any that like they seek help because it's like you only are diagnosed that because you're doing it? Like, are there people that are like, I want to do that but realize it's bad and don't
I don't want to like blanket statement it and say like no, but what I have seen is a very concerning trend with like people who have fake things like cancer and have raised so much money and have concerned the fuck out of their family. And I've seen the lack of remorse where they will literally look in their face and be like, no, I am sick. So I don't know how much of it is genuine belief of their sickness or if it's something else. But at the same time, you're like, no, it can't be because you have to actively make yourself sick. So how would you not know?
I think it probably exists on a spectrum because I think some people probably are taking things because they think they're sick and that maybe that's making it worse. But like when you're actively poisoning your kid, I just am like, I guess also they're operating from such a lack of empathy and like care for that other person that they're willing to do that why would they suddenly be like, that's not good, I need to tell someone that I want to do that? Oh my God. I don't know. The whole thing is just insane.
Insane is an understatement. I just feel like gross, and all I can do is just like be thankful that Daisy seemingly made it out alive and will hopefully
and the
survive
other kids
this.
too.
Yeah, the other kids as well. I don't know what else to say other than like, fuck, this shit's fucking crazy. Oh my God, you know what I just got a random flashback to? I watched this documentary, I think it was on Hulu. It's called like The Perfect Wife or something, and she like faked a disappearance, and it was fucking insane. So not only did she...
Gone Girl?
Literally, it was like a Gone Girl. And she like beat the fuck out of herself and had like this guy like beat her up too so that she could come back all fucked up. But also...
Fuck, what I absolutely... What's her name?
The Perfect Wife is what it was called or something.
If you said the lady's name, I would remember.
Yeah.
It's a famous...
She's
case.
blonde.
Yeah. And it was like she like got out of her car on the freeway or something.
No, she was jogging. I think.
I totally know what you're talking about. Someone actually commented her name on one of our videos for some reason recently.
But the reason why I was actually thinking about her is because later on when it was found out that she faked her own disappearance, it was also found out that one thing that she used to do was like tie around, I want to say it was like Ziplocs, but like tie around like Ziplocs of like really strong like rubbing alcohol around her two kids to like make them sick. And they like later on when they got older.
I guess that tracks because it's like when you're looking for that kind of sympathy and attention, it's the same kind of.
But that's like fucking crazy to me. I think it's like the methods are different. It's different, maybe levels in people. But I don't know how much those people seek help because it is so...
Sherry Papini.
Yes, that's what it is. It's just so concerning that this exists out there. And I think that, you know, when it comes to family content in general, we talk about it all the fucking time, how concerning it is. But like, it could literally be bad. And you see that people get more attention on videos where their children get hurt and when people are concerned about their children. And that, we can't allow that shit. Like, we have to fucking call that out. That's insane.
When again, like, it is a spectrum, because there are people like that are gonna film their kid because they scraped their knee and that might get them more attention, or kind of fake a scenario like that. But then there's people that are mentally unwell and are willing to go to such extreme lengths that they're literally going to put their child through anything just to, like, and then, as I said in the beginning of this, social media has probably made this so much worse for so many people, because it's like, it was already possible to gain sympathy from people just like within the medical community and their own community. But now it's like they're fueled by millions of people that they can reach online as well.
And it's
whether
lucrative.
that is for
they can
money
make a lot
stuff,
of money.
or exactly, or if it is just for like the currency of attention. It's just another reason why you should always question when people are showing their kids like the level of exploitation and like how far are they willing to go, because it might start with something that seems relatively benign and not that serious, and then suddenly it's like, oh my God. It's just so
I know.
fucked.
It's fucking disgusting. And this has made me so upset. The only thing that I was like, okay, is like, allegedly she has been taken away. And it's not a happy ending by any means. That is a whole life ahead of her that is going to be very complicated. But
better than the alternative.
Take her the fuck away. Yeah, because that she would have killed her. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, that is what we know so far. We will update you if we find out anything else. But it does seem to be where we left off when we are filming this. So I'm sorry, but it just felt like we needed to call her the fuck out, even though a lot of people are.
We don't love to talk about serious topics. And then especially ones like this, we don't like to talk about, because who wants to talk about this? But I think the tie-in to like family vlogging is such a important part of this, because I think we need to be very aware of, again, why people are doing this, how far they're willing to go, and like why it's not okay.
Yeah.
Any level of exploitation of your kids, much less medical exploitation. And then it's just gross.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we will leave it there and move on to slightly, I mean, it's gross, but much more lighthearted than whatever the fuck that was. That was a lot. And I'm sorry. Thank you for sticking with us. But let's get into Keith Lee and the sushi, because it has been all over my For You page. And oh my God, I can't see that fucking worm anymore. It's haunting my dreams.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but
Shut the fuck up, you haven't?
No, I didn't. I tried not to watch it because I saw the beginning of Keith's video.
Okay, so we are talking about Keith Lee. And if you don't know who Keith Lee is, you must be hiding under a rock. But he is known for food reviewing on TikTok. We have a few episodes on him at this point.
It's interesting because we have talked about him a few times, but he's not a problematic creator at all. And the reason we have talked about him usually has less to do with him and more to do with the people that he's been interacting with and trying to help with his platform, and then it just kind of spirals out of control.
Yeah.
Nothing like this has ever happened before, though.
No, I think he's reviewed some foods that maybe he didn't like 100%. Even when he doesn't like something, he's honest about it, but he's really respectful. He doesn't like to bash businesses, anything like that. What's interesting about this one is this is not something he noticed while he was filming. This is something that everybody watching this noticed. He like chilled out on it for a few days. Like literally, I want to say he posted like 10 TikToks in between. And then came him acknowledging that this even happened. So like he definitely takes his time with things. He doesn't like to like jump the gun and just bash a business, because he knows the kind of influence he has. He has 16.8 million followers on TikTok, which is fucking insane. He says a restaurant is good, the next day it's packed, and it's packed for months. Like he has literally saved restaurants.
And on the opposite end, he knows that if he, and that's even what has caused some of the stuff in the past, is that he has given not even negative reviews of food, but he has said like he didn't have the best experience, or like they wanted to offer him special treatment, and that's like not what he's looking for. Even giving a non-review, he's like gotten backlash for. So I feel like he's very aware of his reach and what that is going to mean for the business. So I understand why he would wait, especially with something like this, but also, oh my God, I just can't even imagine the thoughts going through his head of like, how do you handle this?
I know. So anyway, he went to a place called Fob Sushi, and he explains what it was and how it works. So we'll just let him do that.
The food in this bag is sushi, but sushi done in the most unique way that I've ever seen in my entire life. I got it. Let's try it.
He wasn't wrong about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well,
foreshadow.
How unique, you didn't know.
I spent $15. The name of this restaurant is Fob Sushi Bar, and it was one of the most recommended places since we've been here. What makes it so unique is the ordering process. All of the sushi is sold by the pound, and it's buffet style. So you go in, you grab a box. They have an option of 2 sizes, large or small. Once you pick the box, you grab a tong and you go down the line and you pick the sushi that you want. And it's $14.99 per pound. They have over 30 different options, but the only thing for me is that I have a shellfish allergy. So most of the options that they had was fully contained with shellfish, but I still managed to get like 10 pieces. So I'm gonna show you everything I got and we're gonna try it and rate it 1 to 10. I got a big box because I thought I was gonna be able to get a lot more. Filling this whole box is probably $30 to $50, I would have to assume. And look how much you would get. Instead of showing them one by one, I'm gonna just pick them up as we go. We're gonna start classic, salmon nigiri.
Okay, so we just need to pay attention. We just need to pay attention here, okay? I want you to look towards the right side of the sushi when he kind of holds it up horizontally, okay? I'm gonna put it in slow motion.
Oh my God. It's like a fucking tentacle.
Literally, it is fucking huge and it is disgusting and it is wiggling. Look at it, look at it. Here it goes. Hello. It literally just curls up and just fucking slithers. Like there is no denying that is a worm.
I don't like sushi.
I love
to begin
sushi.
With. I don't. So this is already gross to me just to think about shoveling in a bunch of sushi. But then when you add the fact that something's moving.
So here's the thing though, and I will say, since you don't know about sushi, I will just clear some things up. So this is nigiri, and nigiri is not like, let's say smoked salmon. Like if you get like a Philadelphia roll, right? That's like a really popular roll. That's smoked salmon. Okay, so it's been processed. And a lot of the sushi that I enjoy is like shrimp tempura sushi or things like that, right? They're like fully cooked.
Well, and that's a lot of people, I feel like when they tell me, they're like, oh, but you just haven't found one you like, or you just need to try it. Because I'm like, ew, the thought of raw fish, no thanks. But a lot of people say that not all of it is raw fish, but that wasn't it?
Yeah, so nigiri is fresh fish, but we're going to find out a little bit about like fish safety and like what, even if you're serving fresh fish, what it should be and like how it should have been kept beforehand, because the process of having raw fish, quote unquote, still requires it to be frozen. And when you freeze it, it kills all the parasites.
Again, I don't like sushi, so all of it the thought of it all grosses me out. But in a buffet style, feels like there's a reason they don't do that.
Well, they do that. So I've been to a sushi buffet that I shit you not was fucking delicious. I loved it.
Well, I know there's all you can eat sushi, but are there like sushi buffets where it's served yourself?
I've literally been to a sushi buffet in, okay. It was a sushi buffet, but it wasn't like such a small place like this. This like looks like a crumble cookie that has like a bunch
frozen
of sushi.
Yogurt.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like frozen yogurt where you have to weigh it at the end.
No, the place that I went to was fully a restaurant that you could sit and eat, and then you just get up and go to the buffet of sushi and you're like picking that up. But I don't know the logistics. All I know is that regardless, what this indicated, and we'll get into that again, is that this was not stored properly, or it wasn't sourced properly. Something went wrong because that thing shouldn't have been alive. There are worms in salmon galore. Like if you ever have looked at it under a microscope, fucking vomit. But they get killed in the flash freezing process. So this isn't supposed to happen. Anyway, people, the amount of TikToks I have seen of this fucking worm. This worm lives rent-free on my
Do you know what
page.
this reminds me of? It's like when people like find like stuff that like ghosts in footage afterwards.
Oh my God, literally. And you're just like so happy galore. Like he literally ate that whole thing. He ate that worm.
Yeah,
that is in his stomach.
It's insane.
So anyway, it came out that someone had also gone to FOB the day after Keith Lee went, and they ended up being hospitalized.
Well, and also it's important to note that Keith has come out and said like he felt fine. So he didn't really know what the best course of action would be. And I think he waited to say something until he found this out where it's like, shit. Like,
yeah, it's a health concern. You can't do that.
I don't think it matters if it's a one-off thing. That's like very, very concerning. But this was what really tipped it over the edge.
Yeah, so there's somebody by the name of Joshua M. Rivera on TikTok, and he posted a video of his girlfriend in the hospital, and the caption on screen says, "FOB Sushi got my girlfriend in the hospital for a whole week."
Also, the actual caption on the video was, "Keith Lee, how your stomach feeling?" Like, was this the original post?
Yeah, this is the original post.
You said this guy went the day after?
Yeah, his girlfriend went the day after.
So they went because Keith Lee recommended it.
Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. They could have also just
the
been
caption
people.
makes it seem like that.
Well, it also could have just been because from everything I heard, like people were saying, oh, good, there's not going to be long lines in FOB Sushi anymore. Like I think it was a very, very sought out place in Seattle. And so she may have very well just been going and then found out about, like she's in the hospital and then finds out Keith Lee went and everyone's seeing a worm. Like it could have just coincided, or she could have gone because he recommended it and ended up in the hospital, which is awful.
That's what I'm like. I can't. He would. I feel like just be absolutely mortified. I mean, anyone would, but like especially him.
Yeah. So then the boyfriend elaborates further with receipts, and he's responding to someone that says, "This is rude if you're posting this for clout." It says you can destroy a small business whether or not this is real. Oh, okay. So I think people started thinking it was fake and being like, "Oh, you're just trying to like get on the back of all of
your
this.
girlfriend's just in the hospital and you're just
So he shows a picture
course.
that proves, you know how iPhone pictures are like timestamped. It says Monday at 2:01 p.m. and it's the location and it shows the fob sushi box. Oh, 2:03. All right. But then it's like a whole text thread where the girlfriend is just telling him that she feels awful and is like shitting herself. Like literally it's talking about how she's shitting water and cannot. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. It's a horrible feeling. Everybody shit water once or twice or, 3-4 times at Disney. I don't know.
Oh my God. There's an 80% chance I'll not be something for Thanksgiving.
Friendsgiving. Yeah. If you look at the top of this next text thread, she's literally saying, I've been up since 5:40 pooping out straight blood.
That's scary.
I know.
Like, he says, maybe you should go to urgent care, lover. That's not good.
Yeah. And she says, I literally feel like I'm dying. No cap. I hope they call back sooner rather than later, because she was like trying to get into a doctor. But then she says that they basically told her to go to the ER. So she went to the ER. And when they did scans of her, he talks about the results.
Which brings us here today. And basically, she doesn't have a due date to go home because it's still to be determined, because she's still pooping and she's still having stomach aches. But she did have a CAT scan, and it did say that her colons were inflamed and that there was a lot of bacteria in her stomach area. And we did get the stool test back, and the nurse basically came in saying that her Shiga toxin levels are positive and that there is a form of E. coli that is in her stomach. So we're not posting this as a lie to gain clout or anything. We actually did have Fob Sushi. She did get E. coli from it.
Oh my God.
No hate towards Fob Sushi. If you support them, you support them. No hate towards that at all. We're just saying that if you do have it, be careful. We did see Keith Lee's video. We saw about the whole worm controversy.
No hate to Fob Sushi. I'd have some hate for Fob Sushi.
Well, okay, so the reason maybe he's saying that is because this was their first response. They responded again after this, but it says, Dear valued customers, we were honored to recently welcome Keith Lee to Fob Sushi and are incredibly grateful for his visit and the support from everyone who has stopped by. Recently, a video has been circulating online that claims worms were found in our sashimi. We want to address this claim directly and assure you that that is entirely false. At Fob Sushi, we are committed to upholding the highest health and safety standards to provide clean, fresh, and safe food for every customer. Sir or ma'am, we have eyes.
I feel we're being gaslit.
Yeah,
we
literally,
saw
we
the
have
worm.
eyes. We have eyes. Thank you very much.
It's like, oh, it wasn't a worm. It was a parasite.
We saw it wiggle. Anyway, their explanation continues. All seafood served at Fob Sushi is sourced from trusted suppliers such as Young Ocean Inc. Young Ocean at their headquarters. Like, who the fuck? Why would you mention us right now, bitch?
Well, also, I'm like, there's recalls for like major companies for products with E. coli all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but like pretty often.
Yeah.
Where it's like not like it's a not reputable brand. Like that has nothing to do with it.
It says who process their products under hazard analysis critical control points regulations. This includes both fresh and frozen seafood, ensuring compliance with stringent safety standards. All of that is gibberish for like, then explain the worm. Like what? Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I don't think anyone usually intends to give out products
like, I don't
that have
think you did it on
coli in
purpose.
it. Like,
yeah, but they go into a little bit more of like the exact regulations that they follow. It says, according to the FDA's Fish and Fisheries Product Hazard and Control Guidance, ChatGPT.
They're just listing all the parameters for like what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's not proof that it was done.
Freezing fish at specified temperatures effectively eliminates parasites. Freezing and storing at -4 Fahrenheit, freezing at -31, whatever. All these sorts of parameters, which again doesn't explain why there was a worm in that sushi. They go on to say, all our frozen products meet these standards and any fresh products are intended to be frozen before consumption to completely eliminate any potential health risks.
Interesting wording there that they are intended.
Yeah, I'm like,
to
are
be
you supposed
frozen.
to freeze your sushi before you eat it?
Well, did you freeze them though? Like,
yeah. Regarding the video, the movement observed in the fish may result from natural elasticity or the pressure of chopsticks when applied to its structure. We want to assure our customers that this is not indicative of worms or any health concerns. The chopsticks?
That's fucking wild.
What?
He wasn't moving and it was.
And then their last slide is a statement from Young Ocean that is basically just saying, don't worry, we do everything the right way. So totally fine.
Just like every
copy and
company
pasted.
ever. Like,
yeah, it's all the same.
Fuck
Like
you.
We
like
store it at -4 Okay, do you? Because then
they're
why was
just
there a
copy
worm?
pasting the guidelines that they're supposed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if that is what the protocol is.
Exactly.
Clearly, someone didn't follow the protocol.
After this, and after it came out that somebody was hospitalized, Keith Lee was like, you know what, maybe I'll give a statement. Like, maybe I'll just say something. Because at that point, I would imagine he was pretty pissed. Because what they just essentially did was blame him and like his usage of the chopsticks for why that happened.
And also, they didn't address the person that's in the hospital.
Yeah, no,
they
not
only
at all.
addressed Keith and the movement in the sushi.
And also, it was kind of insane because I saw a lot of people before Keith came out. A lot of people were like almost trying to defend Fob Sushi and say that these could be something called, I believe the name is like Bonito Flakes or Benito Flakes. I don't know the exact name. And it is a flake that does move. But I'm like, this is sashimi. This is something that is just fish, rice. There's no crunchies on top. No crunchies. And it just is so weird. I know that maybe it's the human brain just trying to rationalize things, but I'm like, why do people try so hard to defend businesses that they're like haven't been to, or like, I don't know. It just seemed like they were writing for them.
And again, when there is someone that is literally in the hospital, this isn't just like
E. coli.
Oh, Keith is fine, but it looked gross. Like,
yeah.
What?
Mind
No.
you, the worm is super separate from E. coli. Like, this is a whole separate issue. I don't think the worm is because of E. coli. If I see a worm, I'm thinking parasite, because there are a lot of parasites found in sushi. Like, that is a thing. Maybe they are connected. I just think they are also possibly two separate issues that are very concerning. Anyway, this is Keith Lee's response to everything.
I'm gonna go straight to it. We went to a place called Fob Sushi in Seattle the other day. Somebody slowed the video down, and it did appear that something moved. 1,000% transparency. I didn't see anything until somebody pointed it out. I can't confirm or deny what it was, but I can confirm I am okay. I appreciate the people who actually did reach out and was worried about me. I'm all right. The only reason I'm making this video is because I just saw a video of somebody who went the day after us, and now they hospitalized. Just me and my character and who I am as a person. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna say something about it. I send my heart and I send my blessings to that person that's in the hospital. And I've already said 1,000 times, I don't believe in tearing down any business. But at the same time, people's health are on the line. So if somebody's saying they're in the hospital and there's something moving in food, I absolutely think there's accountability that should be taken, and it's something that you can learn from it. For the restaurant to post a statement and indicate that me holding the sushi or me holding the chopsticks a certain way is why the sushi moved, I personally don't agree with it. Because I've had sushi 1,000 times and I held sushi 1,000 different ways, and never once have I seen sushi behaving that way. Again, that's not me saying it was a worm or it was a parasite. I'm just saying it was nothing that I did on my end. I literally was just eating as a customer. And as a customer, I shouldn't be the one getting blamed for if it was something moving in the food. At the end of the day, it's sushi, it's raw fish. There is risk and it's stuff that come with eating raw food, and I understand that fully. I just personally would wish that they would come out and they would be more accountable about it. Nonetheless, only thing I can do is control what I do. And I'm coming out and I'm saying I'm okay. And I pray for the lady who's in the hospital.
I think that was a good response, straight to the point, but also throwing the ball back in the court of Fob Sushi and being like, bitch, like, no, that response is not going to do it.
I just Googled and it says that E. coli is too small to see with the naked eye. I was just connecting the two, but that's like crazy that it would be like two different things. And I guess, has anyone else come forward and said that they were in the hospital?
No, there is nobody else that has come forward as of right now. That was the only person. But after Keith's response, there was another update from Fob Sushi, and it says, "Dear valued customers, in response to recent food safety concerns, we have decided to close our Fob Sushi locations in Seattle and Bellevue until further notice."
Interesting that you would do that if everything was by the book and according to protocol.
Wait, kind of like bringing it back to whether these were two separate issues. It seems like they were two separate locations, Seattle and Bellevue. I don't think those are the same place.
Were they though, or was it just like now they're closing two of them? But
the location on the guy who went to the hospital was Bellevue, and then Keith went to Seattle. So it seems like that is why they're closing both. So maybe they didn't publicly acknowledge the guy whose girlfriend was in the hospital, but it seems like they have closed down that restaurant that did affect that person. So maybe there was something behind the scenes.
That they wouldn't, like, usually when there's like a recall of like meat or something, they put out a huge notice, because it's like, if you have this, like, I guess you would know if you found it. But.
Yeah. But they go on to say, "Your health and safety are our highest priorities. We are conducting a thorough investigation to address the situation and will take all necessary measures to prevent it from happening again."
Wait, whoa. From what happening again?
What do you mean? From someone shitting their pants?
They aren't even acknowledging, or if it's about Keith, or if it's about the other one, or if it's
I do think this is giving very vague corporate vibes, where it's just like, we're sorry, this won't happen again, but can you address how you blamed it on Keith Lee's chopsticks? Because that's concerning.
Yeah, well, and prevent it from happening again. Both of the things, not like one, they're joining it together and it's just like a blanket.
I mean, I don't doubt that they, regardless of what they're saying publicly, they do know that there was a worm in that sushi, and they do know that they landed someone in the hospital. And so I do think that regardless of what they're saying public, and regardless of what accountability has been taken, them shutting down does show me that they are gonna be like, fuck that, we're gonna make sure that our sushi sushi is fine. You know what I mean? Like, I do think that that's going to happen. Would I ever eat there? No, I would not. But you know what I mean? Like, I do think that's why they're closing it down.
For sure. But it's just like so shady that they aren't acknowledging it, actually, and saying what happened. Not only are they not acknowledging what happened, but then they were gaslighting everyone to say nothing happened the first time around.
Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously
and are now admitting
a very
it without
bullshit
admitting
answer. And all I can do is hope that because instead of just saying like, we promise we'll do better, they actually did close down those locations indefinitely for right now while they figure it out. That to me gives me like a little bit like, okay, at least they're doing something. Like, I don't think they're just like playing patty cake.
But they're probably being like investigated by someone.
Maybe. No, that's true. Maybe they are. Yeah. But they continue on to say, to our community, we are deeply grateful for your years of support and sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. We remain dedicated to providing you with the highest quality sushi. Nowhere do they mention E. coli. Nowhere do they mention the worm again. They just, that's it.
That's
just
insane.
Like, and that's it. They left.
Again, after they were like, no, everything's fine. We follow all the rules.
Insane.
And it's like, what happened?
What is happening
What's
here?
It?
I know. But yeah, that's basically the worm sushi thing. It was fucking, what the hell?
That's insane. I can't, like, are people still supporting them, or is it?
Yeah, no, I literally saw people saying, oh my God, thank God, now there's not going to be lines at Fob Sushi. And they were like eating it.
That is insane to me. Like, why you would not be alarmed. And especially at the backtracking here.
I know, but that's pretty much it. So we love the internet.
Fuck. Yeah.
I
wow.
know. It's so weird. Oh, I've got a good one because one of you girlies tagged me in it. And I was like, oh, Lily's going to love this one. So let's see. I will read the caption first because admittedly, I didn't read it first. And it made me sad a little bit in the beginning. And then I was like, oh, I get it. So it says, elementary school celebrates beloved death therapy dog. And it was his birthday. So here it is.
Oh, I got the little glasses.
They're just rolling him through with a wagon. They all learned happy birthday in sign language.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God.
They gave him a cheeseburger.
Oh my God, stop it. Stop it.
He's like, hell yeah.
I love that. I'm like, I feel bad that he's deaf, obviously, but I'm also like, I kind of feels like a great situation for him to be a therapy dog because it's like he doesn't care that there's screaming children all around.
Literally, that's when I first saw this. I was like, okay, very cute. Let's celebrate the dog, but like, it's too loud for him. And I was like, oh my God, he's deaf. This makes it so much better. Like, not better, but
honestly,
better.
perfect fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well,
it made
and
me so
I know
happy.
that like
was
even
so cute.
when like dogs are born, like, or either like early on, or even your dog, that when they like lose a leg, that they're very resilient and like they compensate with other senses or other limbs or whatever. It's like if he was born deaf, he doesn't know he's deaf. Like that's always
that's even the same with
everything
humans.
he knows.
Everybody's circumstance that you were born into is what you were born into. That's the only thing you've ever experienced, and I think that's beautiful.
And I think it's so sweet that then they found something that it's like a normal dog might not be as comfortable with, or it might be kind of like taxing on them. And it's like he's so unbothered. He's just like
the glasses. Are you joking? So cute.
Anyway, they're perfect.
Thank
they
you to whomever
perfectly.
tagged me in that. You're wonderful and I love you.
Oh my God. I want to meet Cole.
I know. Not this episode making me want to order sushi, and I will eat it.
Okay, that's literally, I'm so grossed out. I'm like,
sorry.
if I was
weird brain.
just like adverse to sushi already,
well, again,
this
I don't
has made
eat
me like
the raw
never.
fish sushi, so it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to eat shrimp tempura with cream cheese and eel sauce. Fuck yeah.
Okay, I have two options. One is, do you ever watch Kelly Clarkson do like covers of songs?
Yeah.
One is related to that. It's
Well,
not
is it
her doing a
copyright?
cover of song. No. It's it's like a joke someone's doing. The other is about AIM.
AIM. Yeah. Okay, let's do that one. All right, here we go.
Are you almost done? I have to use the phone. I'm having a really important conversation. So, no. Well, hurry up. Did you exit out of LimeWire? I've been trying to download a song for 6 hours. Yeah, well, the computer sounded like it was going to explode. So... You are so annoying. I need to burn a CD for Brandon.
No, literally.
Oh my God, the noises really they just bring me back.
Do you remember, I know this is, well, it's not super random. She mentioned LimeWire. Do you remember when you would download it and it would download too fast and then you'd open it and then it would be like, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes, that one. There were some radio ones. I
that?
had songs that I listened to for years that had like random radio DJs like yelling things in the beginning.
Jesus. And boy, did I burn CDs. I was a burn CD enthusiast. I would get those custom covers and I would print custom covers for everything. Yeah. Good times.
Or just also the old school just Sharpie writing all of the numbers on it.
Well, anyway, we will leave you at that. I'm going to go eat my sushi. No, I just ordered it. And I'm going to have a wonderful night. Hopefully.
I hope there's no worm in it.
There won't be because it's cooked. Anyway, if you made it to the end, we appreciate you very much. We hope you had a fantastic week. Yes, week. And we will see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye. Cheers.